Type. So, yalla, bismillah. So, we'll start inshallah with Brother Aftab. I think he had a question. Brother Aftab. Naam.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Just can you give us a quick procedure of Friday prayer and Janaza prayer?
Ya Akhi Aftab, we will stick to what we covered in level 1. Barakallahu fikum. In level 2, you will do both Salatul Jummah and Salatul Janaza, inshallah. Barakallahu fikum. So, only stick to what we covered in level 1. Barakallahu fikum. Type, brother. But if you have, if you're on Telegram, if you're in my group on Telegram, the Q&A group Islam for us, you can post it there, and inshallah I will answer. Inshallah, brother Muhammad Ismail. Nah.
Assalamu alaikum, Ustaz.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
When actually Imam does mistake, he will do sajda saw, and the muqtadi, if they do mistake, there is no correction, is it?
Type. So the question is, if the person following the Imam, right, he's praying behind the Imam, and the Imam makes a mistake, which he does sajda sahu, and it's enough for the entire Jamaat. But what if the person who's following the Imam, he makes a mistake? So the Imam is okay, the Imam is correct, he doesn't do any mistake. But the Muqtadi, the one following in the Jamaat, he makes a mistake. In this case, he will not do anything because he is behind the Imam, and the Imam will take care of this mistake, inshallah, no problem. So he doesn't have to make sajda sahu independently. Wadah, clear? So he doesn't have to do anything.
Will it not contradict like the recitation of Surah Fatiha is obligatory on Muqtadi?
Sorry, I didn't get your question. You said the person behind in the Jamaat makes a mistake, right?
Yeah.
What kind of mistake?
No. Okay. Mistake. Okay. Similarly, when the recitation of Surah Fatiha is obligatory on both.
Nah.
So if the Muqtadi, if he don't recite Surah Fatiha,
Okay.
so will it be a mistake from his side or?
Well, see that, like we said earlier, there's a difference of opinion. But the stronger opinion, inshallah, is that the Muqtadi should also recite Surah Fatiha. And if he doesn't recite Surah Fatiha, his salah is null and void. Because see, when we give rulings, when the scholars give rulings, right, they don't take one hadith or one ayat and give a ruling. They take all the hadith on the matter and give the ruling. So yes, the person praying behind, and this is not a mistake. This is missing a pillar. It is not a mistake. He has missed a pillar intentionally. That too, intentionally. You remember last week? If you attended last week, we talked about the pillars, right? And we said if someone misses the pillar intentionally, his salah is invalid. And Rasulullah's hadith is very clear that the one who doesn't recite Surah Fatiha, there is no salah for him. So this is not a mistake. This is an intentional, intentional act he has done by missing Surah Fatiha. His salah, inshallah, is null and void. He has to repeat the salah, even if he's praying behind the imam. But like we said, there is another group of scholars who say if you're praying the imam behind the imam, the Zahiri prayers, the Fajr, Maghrib, Isha, in this case you can keep quiet. But the stronger opinion, because what about the hadith of Rasulullah? He didn't say Zahiri or Batini, he didn't say loud or silent. He just said a general statement that if you do not recite Surah Fatiha, your salah is null and void. And he was reciting. We talked about the hadith from Ubadah bin Thabit radiallahu an, that when Rasulullah once was reciting in Salah loudly, Masjid Nabawi, and it was a loud Salah, so it could be Maghrib or Isha or Fajr. And after Salah, he turned around and he said, "Who of you was reciting with me?" So some of the Sahaba, they said, "Beware." So he said, Rasulullah said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and this hadith is Sahih in Bukhari. He said, Sahih Bukhari, he said, if the Imam is reciting, remain silent, except for al Kitab, which is what? Surah Fatiha. Except for al Kitab. So you have to recite Surah Fatiha loudly. And this is a loud salah. So the hadith is very clear. It's wadah. Barakallah fiqh. Taib, clear? Okay. Brother Akram, no, Muhammad Mohi. Naam.
Assalamu alaikum, Ustaz.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Brother Akram, he was before me, please, if it's possible.
Barakallah, Jazakallah. But I saw your hand before Akram raised his hand, before the first question. Anyway, alhamdulillah, no problem. Jazakallah. Brother Akram, Naam.
Assalamu alaikum, Ustaz.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Ustaz, regarding the shurut, if one misses a shurut Like, say, for example, sutra. If he's praying without a sutra, is his salah valid, or what effect does it have?
Okay, so shurut are basically, we talked about this. We said these are conditions which happen before the yani, before you get into the act of worship. And if a condition is not fulfilled, there is no act of worship basically. So let me quickly go to the slides to remind everyone about the conditions. I think this is easier. Hang on, give me a moment. Um,
Usually, in the masajid, like a lot of people are praying. Most of us are praying without the sutra, our sunnat prayers.
mhm. The correct opinion is that, okay, let me give me a minute. Let me just show the slide so everybody's aware of it. Can you see the slide? No?
No, sir.
Hang on. Yeah. So these are the conditions, right? Islam, puberty, sanity, entrance of time, right? And we talked about covering the aura, tahara, making sure you're in tahara, removal of najasa, facing the qibla, and niyyah. That's it. So where is sutra? Sutra is not a condition. Rather, the correct opinion is sutra is highly mustahab, highly mustahab, sunnat muakkada. So it is highly recommended you take a sutra. Sutra is not from the conditions of salah. Clear?
Okay,
Wada?
clear.
Barakallah fiqh. Brother Abu Bara, naam.
Yes, Ustaz. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I have two questions. One of them is advanced question. Is it okay?
Advanced question on the topic?
Yes.
Naam. Fadal.
Okay. If the Imam miss a pillar of one rak'ah of any prayer, for example, Zuhr,
Okay.
so he missed to read Al-Fatiha,
Okay.
for example, in the fourth rak'ah or first rak'ah, and he remember when he ended the salah, but he don't do the tashahhud, so he should repeat this one to stand to the fifth rak'ah. But Ma'mum, he cannot follow him because it's the fifth rak'ah for them. But for Imam, he already make one missing. That's why he need to continue the prayers because it's 4 rak'ah for him and one is already missed.
Okay. So what's
So
your
what is
question?
the
Yes.
case? Yeah, the question, he will stand for the fifth rak'ah and the Ma'mum can continue and follow him or not.
Taib, Jazakallah khair. So yes, it is an advanced question. But alhamdulillah. So the brother's question is the Imam is praying, let's say, Dhuhr, and he missed Fatiha in third or fourth rakat, whatever, which is a pillar, which means he has to make up this pillar, right? And maybe he sat for tashahud and he remembered, or he himself remembered because it's a silent prayer, and he stood up for a fifth rakat to make that pillar of Fatiha. Because Fatiha you cannot recite sitting down. You have to stand up in the position of qiyam as rakat. Naam. So now the people behind the Jamaat, the Ma'mun, Muqtadi, and the people behind the Jamaat, what will they do? They will remain seated because they have finished their 4 rakat, they will not get up. Clear? They will remain seated. The Imam will finish his recitation of fifth rakat. He will sit down, make sajda sahu. They will make sajda sahu with him and make taslim. Wallahu alam. Barakallah fiqh.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair.
Barakallah.
I have the second question.
Hang on. I'll come back to you. Let me give everyone a chance, inshallah. If you have time, we'll come
Okay.
back to you, inshallah.
Okay,
Barakallah.
Barakallah fiqh.
Brother Farhan, naam. Brother Farhan. Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
Sir, my question is during prayer,
Mhm.
what if you don't wear the cap? Then in this case, our salah is valid or not?
Tayyib, barakallah fiqh,
Because
jazakallah khair.
I heard some scholars saying that it is mandatory to wear the cap.
Yes, it's a good question. So when we say cap or the head cover, right? And if you say if you don't wear it, your salah is not accepted, which means it has to be a condition of salah. Okay, and we have 9 conditions. We have Islam, we have akal, puberty, adulthood, being sane, entrance of time, the time should have started, and we have covering of the aura. Now, the cap or the head is not from the aura for a man. The head is not the aura for a man. Barakallahu fikum. Tahara, clear, wada. Najasa, any impurity, also clear. Facing the Qibla, this is clear. Niya is clear. So there is nowhere cap mentioned. So a cap is not from the conditions of Salah. If you pray without a cap, your Salah is perfectly valid, inshallah, and acceptable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the scholars say if you're in a place where, like the subcontinent, for example, India, Pakistan, where they insist on wearing a cap, they don't have a dalil for this actually, but they insist on wearing a cap. So in such cases, if you have a cap, wear it. It's not a big deal. Your salah is still accepted because you don't want to cause a fitna. You don't want to cause a problem there, right? If you're going once in a while or something, and people will be staring at you, maybe they start fighting with you. Possibly they'll throw you out of the masjid. This has happened. So So anyway, the point is, scholars say in such cases you can wear if you wish. If you wish, your salah is valid with and without the cap. No problem, inshallah. Were clear? Barakallahu feekum. But this is definitely not a condition for salah. Your salah is still accepted, inshallah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has prayed with his turban and also without his turban, and so this is not from a condition of salah. Wallahu a'lam. Wada? Type.
No, sir, but
Yeah.
If someone continuously not wearing the cap,
Mhm.
so they are saying that intentionally you are leaving the cap, then in
See,
this case,
brothers, see, as Muslims, we are Muslims and we follow Islam, and Islam for us is the Quran and the Sunnah, the Sharia, right? The primary sources are the Quran and the way the Salaf understood the Quran, the early generations, and the Sahih, authentic ahadith. Type. This is what is our source. And Salah is an act of worship. We all agree. It's an act of worship. It is not a matter of dunya. And in this case, wearing a cap for these brothers is an act of worship. So for an act of worship, we need dalil because we cannot innovate in acts of worship. Because who taught us acts of worship? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. So find me one Sahih hadith where Rasulullah says, if you do not wear your cap, your salah is invalid. Like we talked about Surah Fatiha, that if you leave Surah Fatiha, there is no salah for you. So if Rasulullah said, for example, that if you don't wear a cap, there is no salah for you, now it becomes mandatory. It is obligatory to wear a cap. But there is no hadith like this. Barakallahu fikum. This is an act of worship. So we cannot use our minds and this is more respectful. These things don't play a role in Islam. We have to have evidence. Evidence. Even if our father says so, grandfather, imam of the masjid, it doesn't matter. We love all of them. We respect all of them. But we take the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wada? So if there is a hadith, we follow. Alhamdulillah. Samyana wa atana. No problem. But like we said, scholars say if it's going to cause an issue, wear it, no problem. But if somebody his whole life, for example, since reaching adulthood till he dies, he prays salah every day, 5 times a day, without wearing a cap, inshallah, every salah is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah. Wallahu a'lam. Taib. Barakallahu feekum. Okay, we have a question on the chat box. Hang on. Assalamu alaikum ustad. Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuhu. This question comes in the chapter wiping socks. I wiped over the socks after I made wudu. I wiped over the socks after I made wudu. Okay. And then passed wind. After that, I made wudu wiping over the socks. Then after salah, I removed the socks. Is my wudu still valid? Also, if I make wudu in a state of tahara, but not in a state of wudu. Okay, I'm lost. Okay, hang on. Let me take this bit by bit. Okay, so the brother says he wiped over his socks after I made wudu. So I'm assuming you made wudu, so you're in a state of tahara, and now you wore your socks, right? You wore your socks. Is that right, Brother Abdul Rahman? So you were in tahara, you made wudu, you were in tahara, and you wore your socks. Clear? And now you passed wind, which means your wudu broke. Clear? Type. Your socks are still on. Fine. After that, I made wudu. So you passed wind, so you've broken your wudu, so you have to make wudu again. Yes. Fine. So after that, I made wudu, wiping over the socks. Fine. So now you can wipe, no problem, inshallah, because you wore it in a state of tahara. Now you can wipe. Clear. So now you are in a state of wudu again. You're back in a state of wudu, in tahara. Then after salah, I removed the socks. Is my wudu still valid? Remember when you talked about wiping of the socks, we said one of the things which break the chain of wiping, apart from the time, 24 hours for a resident, 72 hours for a traveler. The other point which breaks wiping is removal of the socks. So if you now remove the socks, you can no longer wipe, but you're still in wudu. You're still in wudu. Your wudu doesn't break. Wudu is broken by 4 things only. We talked about this. You're still in wudu, but now you cannot wipe anymore. So you're still in wudu. Let's say you want to pray next salah, you didn't break your wudu. You can pray with your bare feet, no problem, inshallah. Wada? Or even wearing the socks again, no problem, inshallah. Because you're still in wudu. But now if your wudu breaks, if you pass wind again, now you cannot wipe anymore. You have to wash your feet because you removed the socks. I hope it's clear. If not, use the microphone. Barakallahu fikum. Wada, it's clear, inshallah. Wallahu alam. Ataib, I put my channel, my group on Telegram at Islam for Us QA. So if you have any questions, also brother Abu Bara, if I can't answer, you can post it on that. If you have to download Telegram and join that group, it's a public group. Taib, brother Ahmad Saeed. Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
Stars, all we learned with you now is, mashallah, very good information. But this all information you gave from yourself, basically. So, if somebody we give the same information to other people, they might ask us for the reference. So, is it possible?
Sure. Isn't the reference mentioned in your book?
Okay, I'll go through this.
If it is not there, let me know on the Telegram channel. I will give you the references for everything, inshallah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Oh, let me also give you my email in case you don't. I prefer Telegram, it's easier. I use it more often than email. Barakallahu fikum. Okay, coming back to Brother Akram. Nah.
Ustad, if we miss a wajibat, say like the dua in Jalsa, Rabbik Firli, and we forget to do Sajda Sahu for missing a wajibat, should we repeat the Salah?
Okay, so the brother's question is that we said if you miss wajibat, I think it's clear. Are you familiar with the wajibat? One of them is Rabbik, saying the dua in Jalsa or Rabbik Firli. And if he misses this is the arkan, wada, the arkan is clear, and this is the wajibat. Okay. So if he misses point number 6, for example, intentionally or unintentionally, because intentionally you have to repeat.
Unintentionally.
Type. So he missed the Rabbik Fili unintentionally. So now he has to make, Sujud as-Suhu. So now you also miss Sujud as-Suhu, which is a bit rare, but it's possible. Now it can happen at times. So in this case, if you remember while you're still in the masjid, right, inshallah. So which means the scholars say a lot of time has not elapsed. So you finish at 1 p.m. And let's say 1:05 or 1:04, 4 minutes after the salah, you remembered that I didn't do sujood al-sahu. Then you go back and do sujood al-sahu, and that is sufficient, inshallah. But let's say a long time is elapsed, like half an hour, or you left the masjid, and now you remembered. Now you have to repeat the salah. Wallahu alam. Barakallahu feek.
Because the first time, I didn't know about this all my life about Rabbik Firli, that it's a wajibat. So now implementing it, I often forget it. It's hard to implement it, but still sometimes I'm forgetting it.
Inshallah, it will come, inshallah. Don't worry, inshallah. Barakallahu fikum. But I thought your question would be, Ustad, I didn't know before, so should I have to make up those prayers? Yeah, I thought that would be a question. But anyway, alhamdulillah. So in that case, no, you don't have to make up your old salawat, which you did not have knowledge, that you were ignorant and you're forgiven, inshallah. Wallahu a'lam. Brother Waqas, naam. I'm trying to give each person one chance. I know, Brother Aftab, I'll come back to you, inshallah. Brother Waqas. Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Yes.
Ustad, this is, I would second the brother here because...
Brother, you're breaking up. I can't hear you. If your connection is not good, you could use the chat box, inshallah.
I was not aware of...
Brother, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear your question at all. Your sound is breaking. Please use the chat box. Jazakallah khair. Brother Arif Noah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Regarding Tayammum, Ustad, now in our condition right now in COVID-19, how we perform tayammum inside the airplane. Let's say in the airplane there is not enough water for perform perfect wudu. So the only option we have to do tayammum. But now in our situation right now, in airplane, mostly they clean the surface of any surface inside the airplane. They make sure everything is almost clean. There is no dust in the seat, in the wall of the airplane, for example. So what is the solution? Because to do tayammum, suppose there is like dust or part of earth on the surface where we when we touch our hand on that surface. So what is the solution, Ustad?
Type. I don't know, man. Usually in planes you do have water in the toilets, but let's assume, based on your question, there is no water, or yeah, I don't know. Usually there is water, but anyway, let's assume there's no water. Uh, you could carry water with you, assuming that you're going to go on the flight, and you think that you will have salah timing in the flight. The best option would be to carry water with you, a bottle of water, even a small bottle. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to do wudu with very less water, so a small bottle of water is sufficient to make wudu. Alhamdulillah. But let's say you forget this as well, okay? And now there's no water, and you need to make wudu, and the other option is to make tayammum. And like the brother is saying, there is no dust. Yani, Allahu Alam. Ideally, you would find dust somewhere, but let's say there's no dust absolutely anywhere. In this case, you can, inshallah, the scholars say the worst, last, every other option is gone. There is nothing else available. You did your best intention, your best effort to make wudu or tayammum. It is not possible with all your best efforts. Inshallah, you can pray without this, and Allah, inshallah, will forgive and accept. Wallahu alam. Barakallahu fiik. But this is the last, absolutely last option. Yani. There is somebody's in prison. Let's say somebody's in prison. He's chained up. He cannot move his hands and legs. He's in chains. How does he do tayammum? He can't go to the bathroom. In this case, he prays, inshallah, and inshallah Allah will accept. Inshallah. Allah. Barakallahu fiik. The brother who asked me about the dalil, I forget his name. What's his name? The brother who asked me for the evidences. Who was the one who asked me for the evidences?
It's me, I asked.
Who's this? It's me who.
Ahmad Said.
Sorry? Ahmad Said. Ahmad Said, yes. Brother, are you part of the Telegram level 1 group?
Yes, Ustaz. I am there.
Okay, because I posted some evidences there for some things, and I also posted a series of Sheikh Aziz on how to make wudu and salah, but I will also post the others, inshallah. Barakallah. But some of them are there. I just remembered. Barakallah. Okay, brother Muhammad Riaz Khan. Naam. Walaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
My question is, when we are traveling or when we are in the office, when we are praying not in the masjid or not in the exact time of the namaz, after like 30 minutes later or in the office, when we pray, we have a separate prayer room. However, when we go, we ourselves form the group, and then we have an imam, and then he takes the lead. There are cases when people hesitate to take a lead, and alhamdulillah, we are learning now. So the ones, if nobody takes the lead, the ones who is learning, can he take the lead? Because nobody is coming in the front and looking at each other.
Okay.
Is that okay? The one who is learning can lead the salah?
Right.
In this stage, are we allowed to do it?
Right. So what did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say about the imam? Who should be the imam? He said the one who knows most of the Quran, right? The one from the Jamaat who knows most of the Quran, he should be the imam. If there are two people or more who have the same amount of hifz of the Quran, then the one who knows most of the Sunnah. Again, if these people are equal in the Quran, hifz, and in the Sunnah, then the one who made hijrah first. Yeah, this is the stepwise priority. In another riwayat, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the one who is eldest should lead. the sheikh or the sheikh, yani in this case Arabic we mean old person, yeah, the one who is eldest, because such a person would know more of the Quran, more experience, and more of the fiqh and so on. So this is the guidelines. Now, in a case where, and also we should remember that the imamat or being an imam is an amana, it's a trust, because now you're responsible for the whole jamaat. Barakallahu fikum. And you're standing in the place where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam stood. It's a responsibility and not to be taken lightly. So, Allahu Alam, why brothers may hesitate, we don't know unless we ask them. But if you think you're confident of doing it, and you know all the the hukum of salah, what to recite, and your recitation is good, and your wajibat arkan are good, and you know all of this, inshallah there's no harm in a student of knowledge, inshallah leading, if nobody else steps forward. Wallahu alam. Barakallah. Taib, Brother Waqas's question. I hope it's clear, Brother Riaz, inshallah.
It is, alhamdulillah.
Barakallah. Assalamu alaikum, Ustad. Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. There is a message floating on social media that Tabligh ki Jamaat and Dawa are not fine. Your kind guidance is needed in this respect, and confused what to do, please. Brother, this is not part of the topic, so I'm not going to answer that. Jazakallah khair. I hope you understand. Let's stick to what we are discussing. Barakallah fikum. But let me know on if you have still any issues. Contact me separately, one to one, and we can have a discussion on this. But not now. Taib, Barakallah fik. Brother Jawad Khori. Naam.
Assalamualaikum, Ustad.
Walaikum assalam.
Ustad, my question is regarding the Qibla. Suppose someone is in a very complex building like a castle or somewhere, and going up and down to other floors, he lost the sense of direction. So he prayed Salah in the castle somewhere, thinking that there is Qibla in the north side, okay? But actually it was in the other direction, and he realized it later. So what should be his course of action?
Jazakallah khair. Yeah, which castle are you in? Anyway, alhamdulillah.
Actually, this happened to me.
You should invite me to your castle as well, yani. We can have some gawa and some tamar, dates, alhamdulillah. Type. So the point is basically, the question is in principle that if a person is not able to judge the qibla correctly and he prays salah, but he makes his best effort. I'm assuming he made his best effort to try to figure out which way the direction of the qibla is, and he was wrong. Yeah, and he prayed the salah. He was wrong. There is a difference of opinion among scholars. Some scholars say once he realizes that the direction was wrong, he needs to repeat his salah, because qibla, facing the qibla is a condition for salah. And if you miss the condition, which means your salah is not valid. Other scholars say it is forgiven because he made his best effort, and he was wrong. He can pray the next salah, inshallah, in the correct direction, but he doesn't have to repeat. Wallahu alam. I would go with the first opinion, that he has to repeat because it's a condition. Barakallahu fikum. Wallahu alam. Taib. If it's not clear, let me know immediately. Yeah? Brother, okay, you guys have asked before, so I'm just trying to give everyone a chance. Muhammad Bah. Muhammad Bah. Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
My question is the last time, because I was going through some of the recordings again, one thing wasn't clear for me in regard on the Zakatul Fitri, when you said that it has to be rice for, like, for example, it has to be like the mudu, like the rice for rice and things like that. So if you put money in it, then it becomes a biddah. But now for people who live in the Western country, usually when they send their money overseas, they end up giving the people like a little bit of rice and money. So I don't know what's the ruling in regarding that particular scenario.
Okay. Your sound was not very clear, but I think your question is in terms of Zakat al-Fitr. Is that right?
Yes.
Did we cover Zakat al-Fitr in this class? I don't think so. I don't remember, but
Pardon?
Maybe I covered it in level 3, not in level 1. I don't think we...
No, you did.
Yeah?
That's on week 7, because I remember the recording. It's on week 7. The recording on week 7.
Okay. Fine. Anyway, just to answer your question, inshallah, Zakat al-Fitr has to be the produce of the country or where you're staying. So wheat, rice, barley, dates, whatever. something which has to be given as food, so the people can also, everyone can enjoy Eid al-Fitr, and they can have a feast and walima and so on and so forth. Now, sending money is a bid'ah, as mentioned by the scholars, because this was not the practice of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or the Sahaba. And at that point in time, they did have dinars and dirhams were available. Gold was available. Gold was traded. Dirhams and dinars were used to purchase commodities. So they had money, they had wealth. But nowhere we see this being used as zakat al-fitr. And Rasulullah definitely did not do this, and the Sahaba did not do this. So we have to stick to produce of the country. Now, even in the West, I'm sure you have people who are poor, who can afford, who cannot afford much, and they will be happy to receive rice or whatever you eat in the West. I don't know, bread or whatever, burgers maybe. I don't know.
Like the
To
thing is, where we live, to be honest, I don't think we have those people.
I can't understand you. So where you live? Sorry.
Where the place where we live, we cannot get those type of people. Yeah,
Well,
it's very rare you see those type of people.
Yani, the scholars have allowed transferring the money out to a different country, like delegating someone else, but in exceptional cases only. Like we said, for example, um, a Muslim country has had, let's say, an earthquake, la qadarallah, and people are homeless. They need money, and it's Eid time, and they don't even have a roof on their head. In such cases, the scholars say, in this case, you can delegate and send it to that country, but the zakat al-fitr has to be given before you go for Salatul Eid. Uh, this is the only condition I remember, I know of. Wallahu alam. Wallahu alam. Taib. Barakallahu feek. Okay, Ustad, can you please repeat the Qibla direction message? Yeah, so the question was, if the Qibla was wrong and the person prayed Salah in the wrong direction, and later on he found out that the Qibla was wrong, what should he do? Should he repeat the Salah? The stronger opinion is yes, he should repeat the Salah, because the Qibla is a condition. Facing the Qibla is a condition for Salah. But some scholars say no, but the stronger opinion, inshallah, is to repeat the Salah. Wallahu alam. Okay, let's come back here. Then we have Brother Aftab. You have a question still? Or?
Yes.
Naam. Fadal.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
Yeah. I came when as for Zohar prayer, already Jamaat is finished. Then I saw one guy is praying alone, but I don't know whether he's praying Farz or Sunnah. So shall I join with them? What is the condition? Because I have seen people are joining.
Taib.
What is the correct method?
Taib. Okay. The hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this matter, and the dalil which is used, is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting once, they finished Salah in the masjid, and a Sahabi came in, and he wanted to pray, because the masjid, like you said, the Jamaat was finished, he was all alone. So Rasulullah said, which one of you will do charity to his brother? Which one of you will do charity to his brother? So one of the Sahabi went, he stood up, he went, but he prayed as the follower, not the Imam. Okay, the brother who came late, the Sahabi who came late, he was the Imam, and this brother joined him on the right side, in the same row, the right side, okay, to be the follower, to make a two-person Jamaat. Right? So that is what is proven from the evidences. In this case, where somebody is praying and you go and join him, you don't know whether he's praying Sunnah or what is he doing. That's why usually if you use a sutra, it's good. So let's say I come late and the Jamaat is finished. So I want to make a new Jamaat. I'm waiting, nobody else comes, but I want to start praying because I'm getting late. I need to go. So it's best to take a sutra. So if there's sutra in front of you, now when somebody comes into the masjid or musalla, he knows now I'm praying fard because there is a sutra in front of me. You see? Anyway, so now if you come in and there's a brother praying sunnah, yes, a lot of people join and the brother then starts reciting the takbir loudly. It's sunnah for him, that's his niyat, and for you it is fard. Some scholars allowed this based on the example I gave you, of the hadith I gave you. But that hadith, the Sahabi who joined was a follower, not leading. The one who was leading was praying his fard. The one who joined, he already finished fard. He's praying his sunnat ghair muakkada or nafil. Yeah, so that is proven. But this, Allahu alam, I don't remember any hadith for this. I know people do it, and I think some scholars allow it. Wallahu alam. I'm sorry, I cannot give more information on that, but I don't remember any hadith for this aspect. But the other way around, we have hadith that the one who came late, he prays fard, he's the imam, and Another brother joins him praying nafil to make a jamaat. This is permissible. This is proven from the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wallahu a'lam. Taib, brother Waqas. Brother Waqas, you have a question? No? Taib. Brother Jawad Khori, you still have a question? Because your hand is raised.
I put it down.
Khalas. Brother Akram, question?
Yes, Ustad.
Naam.
I wanted to know, like, regarding clothes, if our pants are below the ankle
Mhm.
during Salah,
Mhm.
does it affect our Salah?
Yes. Right. Good question. So this thing of we want to clarify, right? This is called isbal. Isbal is leaving your lower garment. It could be a pant, it could be a jeans, it could be what they tie around like the izar or the lungi they call it. I don't know. Yeah, anything which you wear at the bottom part of your body, right? This, if it is below the ankles, this is called isbal. Isbal. Isbal is haram in Islam. It is haram. Haram. It is punishment is of the hellfire. Because Rasulullah says in the hadith that the portion below the ankle is in hellfire. And he did not single out Salah. This is a major misconception amongst the brothers. We think that it is only for Salah. No, it is always, always. Not only in Salah, always. Because brothers, they enter the masjid, they fold their pants, they pray like the cap, right? Somebody puts a cap on their head, he folds his pants, he prays, and once he's leaving, the cap goes into the basket and the pants are down. It's as if Islam is only in the masjid. No. Islam is 24/7 by 363 or whatever. Yeah. Sorry. So Isbal is haram. And there are various ahadith for this. Remind me on the group and I will send you, inshallah, the evidences. So it doesn't mean it is only in Salah, it is always. So if you pray with your pants down or making isbal basically below the ankles, yeah, it doesn't affect the Salah per se, but you're committing an haram act. You're committing a haram act. Clear, Wada? Because your aura is covered, because that's a condition. The aura is covered in terms of the libas. The aura is covered. But you're committing a sin, a haram act. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Sahaba, they used to wear their lower garment at the calf muscle area. And he said, Rasulullah said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, if it has to come down, make sure it doesn't go below the ankle. And this from the Muharramat, it's haram, it's a sin, and the punishment of hellfire. It's a major sin. Because anything which has punishment of hellfire listed to it is a major sin. Wallahu alam. Taib. Okay. Okay, Ustad, will exams questions be MCQ form or writing form, Google Forms? Because once you had given homework and writing form and most of the questions were wrong, even though they were wrong because... Okay, Brother Abdul Rahman, the exam will be in forms, but not Google Forms, Microsoft Office Forms, and you will have both multiple choice and writing. And don't worry about the final score when you submit, because the final score is only for the MCQs. The other written text, I have to score it manually because each person writes differently. The English is different, spellings are different. So I will review them and then score it eventually. So don't worry about the final score. That is not your final score when you submit. Your final score, inshallah, will be more than that. It will be different, inshallah. Wallahu alam. Taib. Okay, brother Ahmad Said.
Yes, Ustaz. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
My question is again regarding Surah Fatiha in Salah.
Okay.
Sometimes it's if it's obligatory for us to read Surah Fatiha, then sometimes we join very late before ruku, and we don't read Surah Fatiha there. So will the Salah be valid or not valid?
Yeah, we talked about this hadith.
Usually the opinion is valid.
We talked about this hadith when we talked about Surah Fatiha, right? In class, we discussed this. That a Sahabi came in the masjid and he came into ruku position. He started walking towards the Jamaat in ruku position to catch the Jamaat. And Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was shown this as a miracle from Allah from behind his head. So after Salah, he asked who did this, and the Sahabi said this. And he said, in future, do not repeat it again. But he did not ask the Sahabi to repeat Rakat or recite Fatiha again, no. And he left the masjid. That's it. Right? So this is...
Okay, Ustaz. Another thing is sometimes we really don't have time in Surah Fatiha because the Imam is reciting in a very good form, so we intend to listen. and then immediately after this they start the next surah, Jahri surah. And there is
Brother, we talked about this as well. Did you attend the classes which we talked about Fatiha? We discussed how we can recite Surah Fatiha. Please go back and listen to the recording, Jazakallah khair, because I don't have time. I'll repeat the whole thing again. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But we discussed this. Please look at the recordings. Brother Muhammad Mohi. Naam.
Yes, Ustaz. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I'm talking about the sitting in between sajda. Sitting after first rak'ah and the third rak'ah. I read this one in Sifat al-Salah for Sheikh al-Albani. There is a sunnah. You sit after the first rak'ah, then second rak'ah, there is a middle tashahhud, and third rak'ah you sit little bit and woke up for the fourth rak'ah. So there is a sunnah. This one I don't really listen in the classes. I just need to confirm this one because maybe you have something to inform us.
I'm sorry, brother. I didn't understand your question.
Okay. After first rak'ah, Ustaz, we sit little bit time. After the first rak'ah, second the sujood, then we sit, not directly stand up.
Okay. Yeah, so see, both methods are proven from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he would sit and then get up, or he would get up directly. Both there is both there we have Sahih Hadith on both these areas. And in third, what is third rakat? What do you say about third rakat?
Actually, the sitting is in the odd rak'ah. Yani after first one, you sit little bit and then stand up. In the second, we have tashahhud, so it's okay. But the third rak'ah also...
Yeah. So yes, and the fourth one, and you have final tashahhud. So yes, so like we said, both are proven from Rasulullah.
Yes.
He would sometimes get up straight, and sometimes he would sit. The scholars said, Allahu Alam, maybe when he became older, he was sitting and then getting up. Wallahu Alam. But both are proven, inshallah, and you can do both, inshallah. That's fine, inshallah. Wallahu Alam. Barakallah fiqh. Brother Akram Zishan, you have a question still again?
Yes, Ustad.
Yeah.
Ustad, like if I go, like nobody is there, if I start my prayer alone, after that a group comes and they start a Jama'ah, should I break my Salah and join them, or should I continue my Salah?
No, you continue because you're already praying fard, right? You're praying alone, you're
Yes.
praying fard. You continue and you finish it, inshallah. Wallahu Alam. Okay. Brother Muhammad Bah, you have a question? Brother Muhammad Bah?
No, check. I forgot to put my hand down.
Brother Muhammad Ismail, question?
Yes, Ustad.
Naam.
Actually, Vitr Salah is 3 rak'ah.
Mhm.
Can we pray 1 rak'ah also independently?
Naam.
One first question. Second one is...
Okay, hang on. Let me finish this. So Witr Salah, inshallah, again, I think you will do in level 2, inshallah, in detail. But yes, just to quickly answer your question, Witr is what? Witr is odd, all right? Witr is odd. It is proven Rasulullah Sallallahu prayed 3 and 5 and 7 and 9. Like even in the Taraweh, in Ramadan, sometimes the Imam prays, right? And 1 rakat is also proven from Muawiyah, the Sahabi of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And this was mentioned, and this was Rasulullah approved it. So you can pray 1, you can pray 3, you can pray 5, no problem, inshallah. Wallahu a'lam. Taib. Brother Abdul Rahman, Sual?
Assalamu alaikum, Ustad.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Today in the masjid, I had come in the first Jama'at. Then after I finished, I was doing the tasbih. Then some people, a group of 3 people, they started a new Jama'at. Then, but before them were already some 2 people doing a Jama'ah. Then one person came and said them to join, break their Jama'ah and join another Jama'ah. So then they broke it and joined their Jama'ah. Even though it was before them, it had 2 people. So should they have broken it or kept on going?
See, the first thing is the Rasulullah is prohibited to have more than 1 Jamaat in a masjid at the same time. So if a Jamaat is happening, you cannot make another Jamaat. It is not allowed. This is the first point. So I don't know how these brothers made another Jamaat when there's already a Jamaat happening.
Ustad, they hadn't seen the Jama'ah of 2 people.
Wallahu alam. I will check this, brother. Just remind me on the group, inshallah. Wallahu alam. I will check if what they did was right. I cannot answer. I'm sorry, inshallah. I will check, inshallah, and get back to you. Barakallah fiqh. Taib. Barakallah fiqh. I think we'll stop for now. Any more questions I've not answered, please let me know on the Telegram group. either the level 1 group or the Q&A group, which I posted on the chat box, and inshallah I will try to answer it. Otherwise, we'll see you inshallah next week for the final exam. Right? Barakallahu feekum. Subhanak. And your exam will be during the class. I'll post the link on the chat box, and you can click on it or copy paste it into your browser, and inshallah it should work. Inshallah. طيب, inshallah we'll see you inshallah next week then. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wa akhir da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.